Hey there, folks. I'm Matt Hansen.
And I'm John Johnson.
And you're listening to
Planes, Trains, and Comic Books,
the podcast where we discuss favorites we've reread, comics we want to read, and everything in between.
And here's the comic we picked this week.
Hey there, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Planes, Trains, and Comic Books. Today we got a truly indie book, we can say. This was self-published and everything for, 10, 15 years on his own. It is the book Stray Bullets, which is like a crime noir, fiction crime noir book that is very interestingly written. Like, we were kind of back and forth on if we liked it or not, how it's presented, but basically every issue is like a one-shot that may or may not be loosely connected, most likely loosely connected to some other issue, but they're years apart, some of the stories, and they don't all have the same characters and whatnot. So it was very interesting. This book, volume 1 of Stray Bullets, is called Innocence of Nihilism.
And this was cool because one of the reasons I was really excited to read this one is Matt said he hadn't read this either. I was like, this is great. Like, this is one, because it's every once in a while this comes across, but most of the time it's Matt's like, you need to read this comic, and I haven't read it in 20 years, so let's do this. And like, okay. So this was fun to, like, both of us like go into this blind and not really know what this was about fully.
Yeah, so when I worked at the comic book store, there was like these books that I wish I had bought at the time, but because now they're worth a shit ton of money, I'm sure. But like, there was these fat hardcover. It was like a 3-pack, like absolute, I guess you'd say, of like these, super tall, nice big hardcovers of Stray Bullets, volumes 1, 2, and 3. And I was like, oh, what's that? And the guy was like, oh, Stray Bullets is great. It's like a noir, crime story thing, but it's like episodic. It's not like, big long stories and stuff. He's like, I'm like, okay. But it was like $150. And I was like, I can't and there was no other trades. It was out of print. You can't find any trades for
only these hardcovers.
It was only those hardcovers. So I was like, and at the time there was no like Comixology or any other way to find digital copies of stuff unless you went and pirated it. And Stray Bullets probably wouldn't be on there because it was an indie self-published book. So, you could try Pirate Bay or something at the time, but probably wouldn't find it. And so it was very, like, I was like, I don't want to just throw down the $150 on this guy's word that it's like a good series. And no one else had talked about it that I heard. So I was like, I'll just not do that. And then I'm sure someone bought it since then, but it was always like there in the corner laughing at me, like, you should buy me or whatever. But it always sounded cool. I just couldn't spend $150 on like absolute hardcovers without reading it first. Yeah. And so that's like my history with it. It was always in the store. No one bought it while I was there, I don't think. And I was always told it was like a really good series. It won Eisner's, especially this first volume. It won Eisner Awards when it came out. Not the volume, but the issues individually. And because, it at the time, and this is from 1995, like this dude under El Capitan Publishing, which is his own brand, published these comics on his own, put them out in the comic book stores somehow. I don't know how you do that anymore. You can't do it anymore like that. And was able to get Eisner Awards like the first year this shit came out.
That's impressive, yeah.
Yeah, and so I had high expectations, let's put it that way, because it is an Eisner winner. People said it was good things. You have absolutes made of it, and it's an indie book that has absolutes made of it. That's pretty rare on its own. Like, I don't know if he, under El Capitan, had these fat books printed, but that's why they were probably so much too, because I think each volume only had like 6 issues. So you were paying like $150 for like 18 issues. Yeah. So it wasn't like, that was another reason I think. It wasn't like the most cost-effective way, but it was the only way to read them. So I never got around to reading them. And so now that we're doing this, I'm like, fuck it, we got Comixology. I can now just digitally read them, no problem, for like either free because I have what's it called, Unlimited or whatever, or I think we borrowed this on Unlimited, so it's available on Comixology Unlimited if you have that for $5 a month, I think it is. And I think it's this trade and a couple others of the Stray Bullets like line, so you can at least read a couple of them and I think all of them are available just at at cost, whatever the cost, like $10.99 or something like that. So this first volume is 7 issues long. Not too hard to read or anything. Everything was pretty straightforward.
No, it's a very quick read because there's a lot of intense art sometimes on pages to kind of get across really what true crime-ish elements are going on.
Yeah, and it's not very it's black and white, so there's not heavy dialogue, we'll say. All the dialogue is just people talking what needs to be on the page to further the story. There's no extra shit or anything. It's not like Alan Moore or Neil Gaiman when you're putting poetry and shit on there or whatever. So but yeah, so it was needless to say it was good. I think now it's actually, this is published by Image, so it must have been bought by Image, and now they're putting them out in normal. So I'm sure the trades are available now through Image, and then the same with now it's available digitally too. So the first book of this is interesting. It's called The Book of Love. And this one was what the fuck? As it got crazier and crazier as it went on. This would make a really good short film or something. I thought just a weird or a segment in a Tarantino movie or something. He should do a Stray Bullets movie because it's perfect for him. It's all these weird vignettes and then they're tied together, and then you just have to have the wrap up of the tie together moment, where they meet. But yeah, it's kind of like that. It has a very similar feel of a Tarantino, loosely connected, a Pulp Fiction.
Yeah, definitely.
Tied together. When Vince was in the bathroom, that's when that was going on, and now it all makes sense. So it was kind of like that, very much so. But this first story, there's a 20-year-old kid, maybe 25-year-old kid. It takes place in 1997, which this is the latest or the most recent story out of this whole collection. All of them have a date, and this is the newest one, I guess, or whatever. It's 1997 is the latest year they go to. Everything's earlier, by 20 years before that almost. So there's 2 guys driving in a car. They get a flat tire. One of them is a 25-year-old kid named Joey, and there's another older dude named Frank. And right away, Frank's hey, go get the tire iron. And as Joey's getting the tire iron, you see there's a body in the trunk. And then Joey pulls it out, and it slams on the road and leaves a blood trail and shit. And they're he's trying to hide the body so that in case anyone stops, they're not going to see anything. And basically they're talking, and you find out he's what are you doing so long, taking so long back there, Joey? You having another round with her or whatever? So you find out it's a girl's body, and Joey's man, Harry shouldn't have done that or whatever. I think she was in my class or what, my high school class or some shit. And you're what the fuck? Who's Harry? Obviously something's going on where this girl died, and these guys are the cleanup guys.
Yeah.
But also apparently Joey fucked her or something.
Yeah, it's really interesting because they make it a point to be they don't kill them, they just clean up for Harry.
Yeah. Yeah, they're not killers necessarily. They make it go away. You know, we're just gonna hide the bodies or whatever. So then of course, as happens in the middle of the night when you get a flat, a cop pulls up, is hey, you need any help? And then Frank's taking care of it. Okay. He sees beer cans in there. He's oh, those aren't mine. Those are my friends. I'm not drunk. Yeah.
He's over there peeing, and he goes, I guess, he goes into the woods to pee. So.
Yeah. Yeah. He's shy or whatever. So, but I'm not drunk. It's him. And I'll take your breathalyzer if you want. And so the cop's buying his story pretty much. And he's all right, well, seems okay. And then as he's walking away, then he sees the trail of blood coming out the back. And he's wait a second. And then as he thinks that, all of a sudden out of the woods, you hear blam, 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 blam. And basically Joey had a gun, and he shoots the officer dead. And Frank at first was what the fuck? And then he's I guess you had to, So it's weird because this whole issue, Joey escalates ever so slightly every time. And at first it's justifiable, but then it gets crazier and crazier. Like like after they get the cop, they put him in the trunk too, and they're like talking to each other, and he's like, I've never shot anybody before. Does that make me a bad person? He's like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, what are you, Rain Man or something?
Yeah.
Like, it seems like normally he's a pretty like regular kid or whatever, but something about tonight has made Joey more introspective / go crazy for some reason. And once again, he keeps being like, Harry shouldn't have done that to that girl. You know, and he keeps having to piss.
I think I knew her.
Yeah. He keeps saying, I think I knew her, you know? And then he keeps having to piss because, like, I guess he didn't go pee in the woods the first time because the body kept looking at him and stuff or whatever. And then, he pulls over and he's going to get gas at, like, this diner / gas station. And so Frank's getting gas while Joey goes to get, to go take a piss in the diner. And while Joey's out, so like there's like, this is at the time, I guess, when there was like, what are they called? Gas hops?
Oh, gas attendants.
Gas attendants. There you go. Where like there's a guy that will come fill shit up for you or whatever. So
top your fluids and
yeah. So this guy comes out and he's like, hey, why don't you check the oil while you're at it? And like Frank's just standing there smoking, which I thought was funny, at the gas station while this guy pumps gas and does his oil. And so the problem is Joey comes out after taking a piss and he's walking through the diner, and what he sees is this guy who he doesn't know opening the trunk for some reason. I don't know why he was opening the trunk, whether there was something in there, I don't know. But what the issue was, he thinks it's their trunk. So he freaks out. He pulls his gun out and he shoots the guy.
He pulls his gun out in the middle of the
diner. And then runs out and shoots the guy to death. Then you see, actually what happened was there was 2 cars lined up. So it looked like it was their trunk, but it wasn't. It was actually the guy in front of them's car's trunk or whatever. And so he killed the guy for no reason.
Yep.
Then they're like, well, that happened. That was fucked up. And then, you know, the cook comes out with a shotgun and starts shooting at him and being like, I was in Vietnam. I'll kill you if I have to, you know, put your hands up. And they have to kill him. And like Joey gets like kind of glance wounded by the shotgun. And then they both like run out of ammo as they're shooting at each other. So like Joey and the cook are like, and then Frank grabs his gun he had a gun in the car, and he pulls that out and he shoots the cook. So now there's the cook and this random guy that was the gas attendant is dead. And now they're like, well, fuck it. And then they have to kill everybody in the diner.
Yeah. Then they go in and have to kill everyone in the diner.
So they kill everybody in the diner. So now I thought this was funny, even though it's kind of like sick humor. It shows they have to pile everybody in the car. They're all dead. They're all like sitting in the passenger seats and shit. And then they light the gas station and diner on fire.
Yeah, because they couldn't fit all the bodies there. Like, this is too many. They take what we can, and they'll burn the place down.
Yeah, so they burn the place down, and this is like, okay, the evening gets later and later, right? So at first it was like, 1 in the morning, and now it's like 3:40 a.m. So they're like, what are they gonna do? They only have like 3 hours before sunrise, kind of thing. So they gotta hurry up. So then their plan is like, okay, we take these bodies to the dock, and like that's like we'll drive the car into the water with the bodies, and that'll be that kind of thing. And then they get there, and Joey's like, no, like I don't want to put her in the water. And he's like, what are you talking about? He's like, we were going to be married. And Frank's like, what the fuck are you talking about? He's like, she was going to have my baby.
He's like, you don't even know her name.
Yeah. He's like, but no, like we had sex. And he's like, you think that if you have sex, you have to get married and or they're pregnant right away? Like, what are you, stupid?
Yeah.
Like, the hell are you talking about? And he's like, she was my first lady or whatever. And Frank's like, are you fucking serious? Like, I could have got you laid a bunch of times with all these other people, but now, like, basically this kid is obsessed with this prostitute who Harry was having sex with.
Yeah, and I guess, and Harry was supposedly, from what Frank said, Harry was nice and like let him have a go.
Yeah, so basically Harry had a prostitute who then either he got mad at or something happened, and before he was gonna kill her, he let
Joey.
he let Joey rape her, and then Joey was like infatuated with her even though she's dead. It's a very weird story. So then Frank's like, you fucking idiot. Like, I can't believe blah, blah, blah. He's like, you want to see like, she's just a whore. She's just a fucking whore. And he's like pulling her like bag. There's like a bag that she's wrapped in. He's pulling the bag open where her face is. And as he's doing that, he shoots Joey shoots Frank in the head.
Yeah.
And kills him.
Don't you call her that? Watch your mouth.
Yeah.
And what he say? He says her name. He says her name, right? He's like, her name was Janine or something.
I don't. Yeah. Janice. There you go. You watch your mouth in front of her, Frank. Yeah. Like. So yeah, he said her name was Janice. And he's like, I'm sorry, honey. I don't know what love was. I was afraid they were gonna laugh at me and all this stuff and blah blah blah. He's like talking to his body, so he buries her. He buries her and leaves all the other bodies to be found.
Yeah. And he makes a little tombstone for her. It's like
a little stick or whatever in a rock, and then he walks away saying like, Harry shouldn't have done it. I'll make him pay. You'll see. And then like that's where it ends. So and the normal. This is the creepiest fucking thing too. At the end of that story, he then has a police photo,
real police photo.
It looks like a real police photo of a child, getting his picture taken, with the holding up the sign, and then from the side, like, and they're like, wait, is that Joey for real or what?
At the end of every single one of these is
not everyone, just some of them,
almost all of them. There's a real photo of something like that. Looks like it could have inspired or took place in that story, and it's like, wait a minute, like it's interesting to know like were some of these like was there a little bit of truth in them or
or was it just
cool?
The inspiration was that he saw that picture and was like, what if there was a kid who
like he thought of a story about
it. So it was interesting, like, is this real? If that's real, it's fucking creepy.
I definitely would want to look into that more. Like he definitely this whole thing, while there's some interesting connective tissue and we'll get more into it, but like it definitely piqued my interest to be like, these are really weird, fucked up stories. Like, where did this come from?
Yeah. So the second one's called Victimology. And then this one is like, this was like the main connective story through most of the other ones. This was like the first one of them that connected to a bunch of other ones. So this one takes place in summer of 1977. And
Star Wars came out.
Right away. John, I was like, the first panel says Star Wars, starring Alec Guinness. And I was like, John's going to love this first or the second issue because it's all about Star Wars in the beginning. But basically, it's just a theater. It's playing Star Wars as they did for, I don't know how many weeks they played it, but a long time. They're doing multiple showings. And there's two guys waiting outside the theater. And one of them's named Manny, and one of them's named Spanish. And
Spanish Steve.
Yeah, Spanish Steve. And is Steve?
Or Spanish Scott.
Spanish Scott. There you go. And so Spanish Steve. Now I'm going to say that, I bet you.
Spanish Scott.
Yeah.
Spanish
but
Scott.
I just call him Spanish because that sounds cooler than Spanish Scott, but whatever. So Manny's talking about, hey, did you hear about Lonnie's new man yet? And then like Spanish is like, no. And he's like, yeah, there's a guy named Harry. I don't like him. He's a fucking asshole. And like, I can just tell, I can smell him coming from a mile away kind of thing. And so right away, we're like, okay, Harry, in Joey's story in the first issue, they were working for a guy named Harry, but this is 20 years earlier. So what does that mean? And so basically this is like how Harry got promoted to Harry or whatever.
Yeah, however he climbed the ranks for.
Yeah, so this is him before he was
stuff is going on.
The head boss. This is him as like one of the guys right hand, one of the bosses. The boss is named Lonnie. Lonnie's right hand man now. And so they're like, man, or like Manny's like, I don't like this guy. And also like, I'm on to him. Like I followed him and found out he's like, basically fixing races and like he's hiding it from Lonnie. And I'm gonna like get all this evidence on him and then tell Lonnie as soon as I like shake him down and like get some money out of him and then like tell Lonnie and then Lonnie will kill him. and they're like, and Spanish Scott is like, all right, whatever, dude, whatever you want. Like, who gives a fuck? He's trying to downplay it, and to the part where like, he's like, they're looking at everybody come out of the movie now, and everybody's like, wow, Star Wars, that was great, or whatever, and he's like, what's that? What's that movie? He's like, Star Wars? You haven't seen Star Wars?
Star Wars yet?
He's like, what the fuck? He's like, you'd act like, it'd be like you didn't know who Jimmy Carter was. He's like, who? And so like, it's almost unbelievable who he wouldn't know, the president or whatever. So yeah, you got like Star Wars, all these people coming out, and then we see that they run into a guy named Georgie that they've been waiting for, who was like coming out of a bar across the street. And we see out of the Star Wars area, there's like an older girl named Jill, her boyfriend Greg, who are like, she's like, I love you, Greg. And he's like, oh, my van's down the street if you want to fuck in it or whatever. And then like they have her little sister named Ginny. And Ginny's all like, you can't win, Vader, and like playing and stuff. Like she's all obsessed with Star Wars. And like Jill's like, no, I can't because my kid sister's here. But like she's not paying attention to what Ginny's looking at. And Ginny sees across the street, you got Manny and Spanish, and they're talking to Georgie, and they're like, hey, Georgie, how you been? How come we haven't seen you for a while? Yeah. You know you really fucked up, didn't you? Why don't you come in this alley and we'll talk about it? So they bring him to the alley, and Manny starts beating the shit out of him. And is like, you double-crossing son of a bitch loser, blah, blah, blah. And starts going off and beats the shit out of him. And then he's like, he's dead. What a wimp. Man. And then out of nowhere, Spanish is like, you should have told Lonnie, Manny. And then Manny's like, what are you talking about? And he's like, about Harry, I mean. And then he's like, what? And then fucking Spanish takes the knife that he had and kills
and just jams
like literally cuts his head off, almost cuts Manny's head off. And he's like, basically, and then he says, oh, and by the way, Manny, Harry said to tell you he's also fucking Lonnie's girlfriend. And so basically Harry's planning a takeover. He's already got Spanish on his side. They're going to take over from Lonnie. And if Manny had told Lonnie, then Spanish would have had to play along and go with them against Harry. But now he didn't know that. So, and then Spanish walks out of the alley and he looks around.
And he's like, oh, by the way, I saw Star Wars 7 times.
Yeah. He's like, you're such an asshole. You're a condescending prick. I saw Star Wars 7 times, you dick. And so, but then he's like looking around to see if anyone saw any of the commotion. And he sees the girl Ginny, who was playing Star Wars a second ago, is staring at him and saw everything. And he just looks at her and he goes, shh. And it's like super creepy. And she's just like freaked the fuck out. And then Jill, her sister, comes out of nowhere and is like, Ginny, what are you doing? We got to get home and blah, blah, blah. And so, and she's like, she's trying to tell Jill, like, I saw something. And she's like, you didn't see shit. Because she thinks she means like, you saw me and my boyfriend kissing or whatever. Or something. And so she's like, you don't say anything. You just keep it inside. And then they go home and you see like, their family life kind of sucks. The mom's kind of a bitch, and the dad's like super loving, like over loving, because he's never there.
He's
a truck driver,
so he's gone a lot.
Yeah, and so like he doesn't discipline at all. So like of course she loves the dad more, and the mom who's had discipline is like fed up with having 2 girls that aren't really
that don't listen,
and also just sick of or whatever. And so yeah. And then Jill goes to talk to Ginny to like kind of discuss what happened. And she's like, Jill, I did see something. I saw someone get killed and it was for real. And she's like, really? And she's like, wow, listen to this. What you got to understand, just shove it down inside. Like don't ever talk about it. It'll get fine. Okay. And so then it cuts a month ahead to September. And it's like, basically, Ginny has not been fine for the last month.
No.
She's been like fucking up at school. Everybody calls her like retard now and stuff. Sorry. Well, these are the language of the book. So there's some like book language in this book that is not nice or whatever.
Not politically correct.
Yeah. So they're being mean to her. She's like the only friend she kind of has at all is like the one black kid in the school or whatever.
Yeah, his name is Leon. And he gets picked on too. And it's weird. They both get picked on, but then they kind of like pick at each other a little bit. But then at the end of the day, they're cool.
Yeah. And so you see like, oh, she's getting bullied by her classmates. And then some bully named Kevin's like, oh, hey, you're not eating this cupcake, are you? And she's like, give it back. And he like licks it. She gets fucking pissed, grabs a pencil and stabs him. Right in the back.
Yeah.
So then, like, her parents come and they talk to her. And they're like, "Look at all this story she's been writing. It's like disturbing. It's all violent and everything."
Yeah, what I did on my summer vacation, and it's like fucked up apparently.
Yeah, and there's like lots of death and destruction and crazy stuff. And she's like, "What's going on at home? Like marital problems, or are you beating your kids?" And like, this is the '70s, so they're not very, PC about it or whatever. And basically the mom's all embarrassed that they're basically accusing her of either child abuse or having marital problems.
Yeah.
And they're like, no, nothing like that. Nothing's wrong. And so then of course the mom gets home and is even more pissed at her. But the dad's like, you know what? Next time, just like kick him in the nuts. Don't stab him.
Don't stab him, sweetheart.
Yeah. But stand up for yourself if you have to. So,
yeah. I like that. Like the mom is furious and the dad's like, it's okay, sweetheart.
Yeah.
Just don't go so hardcore next time.
Yeah. I mean, you're allowed to beat up your bully, just, not hospitalize him.
Yeah. Don't almost puncture his lung.
Yeah. So then we see it's Halloween. Cut to that, like, the end of October. And she's dressed up as a ghost, I guess? I don't know.
I didn't know. I at first I thought it was trash bag Batman. But, yeah, I think it's a ghost.
I think it's a ghost because it's just a bag with,
I think it's supposed to be a sheet.
Yeah, it's just a sheet with
a sheet.
Yeah, not a bag. I meant like a cloth bag.
Yeah. Okay, there you go.
So, yeah, it's either a laundry bag or like an actual sheet where she's tied like a little rope around her neck so it's like stays on, and then like it's got eye holes and a mouth hole. So that's pretty much it. I guess it's a ghost. I don't know.
Well, they're outlined with black too, so that kind of makes sense.
Yeah, so she's going out as a ghost. And the older sister Jill's gonna take her, and then like right away Jill's like, I'm gonna go fuck my boyfriend.
Yeah,
you be on your own. And so like she's trick or treating on her own now in the dark in the '70s, as nothing bad ever happens in the '70s in the dark. And we see Kevin and his buddies are like, hey, there's that bitch who stabbed you, and so like
let's get her.
And so they start chasing her down. They chase her into the woods and actually start beating the shit out of her with like their play toys. But I think this is the '70s, so like
they
have
plastic.
A rifle. I think it might be made of wood. It's like a rifle toy that probably is made of wood or at least hard plastic.
That's
same
true.
with the other things like a pitchfork and some other stuff that they have as like part of their costumes. They're beating her with those. Then Kevin pulls out a knife and is like, "Now you're gonna know what it's gonna like to get stabbed, bitch." And he like cuts her across the face.
Well, and this is the part where I'm pretty sure that the way it looks, I think it's an accident. He has it close to her face and is like kind of scaring her, like rips her mask a little.
Yeah.
But then she's like starts flailing and screaming, and so then he cuts her face.
Yeah, I couldn't tell. That was sometimes the action got a little, depending on like he would cut to different angles, and now I was like, wait. Who am I looking at now? Because you got kids in costumes.
Yeah.
So it's kind of not easy to tell who everybody was 100%. This was like the only one I had to re-look at. And then in another story, they mentioned what happened to the boy. And then I was like, oh, that's what happened. But basically, she freaks out. She gets cut in the face. Then she like runs, like in her like fit of rage about getting cut across her face. She attacks Kevin and like jumps on his back and bites his arm. And then like starts scratching his face, and then like jumps on top of it and just goes crazy. And then Kevin's like, get her off, do something, stop. And then out of nowhere, one of his friends grabs like the rifle that he had. I assume it's a toy rifle, but you never know in the '70s. Maybe they're like, hey, it's just a 223. Here you go, kid. Have an
It was my dad's. He let me borrow it for Halloween.
Yeah. You never know. So, but yeah, so he hits her on the head with the butt of the rifle, and it knocks her out, and they just leave her there. Like, let's chase it! And then like they run away while he's all bloody, and they're like, she's not moving, man. So like then she's just passed out in the woods, and that's it.
That's the end.
That's the end. So that was issue 2. And then we see a picture of a kid in a very similar costume. Yeah, it was creepy. I was like, did that really happen? Is this really Ginny? What the fuck's going on? So, yeah. And then we get issue 3. Issue 3 is called The Party. This is in summer of 1980. So this is 3 years later. And we see 2 kids running from the cops. One of them's got a gun. Actually, both kids have a gun. But the kids are, well, one kid's running. He's getting chased by the cop. And then another kid who's also running ends up running into the same street as he was. And he's like, what? What the fuck are you doing here? He's like, what? And then, like, they both are running from the cops now. They run into a car that stops for them. And they shoot the driver and then get in the car and drive away as the cops shoot them.
I love that it was like, get out of the car, and then just bam. Yeah. They didn't even like wait.
They don't wait. They don't wait for the guy to get out. They shoot him in the shoulder apparently, and they don't kill him. I don't know if it's a man or a woman that they shot, but they kill the person, or they don't kill the person. They just apparently shot him in the shoulder.
But then the police shoot in the car.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like the guy or the person never moves, and there's like bullet holes where like he was sitting, or where they were sitting. So I don't know if he got shot by the cops or they got shot by the cops after he got shot in the shoulder, but either one. The kids didn't get hit. But yeah, so they're driving away. They get away. They park in an alley. And like one kid, the main kid whose name is Led, he was the original kid running with a gun. He's like, God damn it, Sonny. Like you were supposed to run down like Main Street, not Summer Street. I was on Summer Street. And then he's like, wait, what? Oh, is that the plan? And then he's like, and where's the bag? He's like, I thought you had the bag. He's like, you didn't grab the bag?
I specifically asked you before we left. I guess they were robbing a jewelry store.
Yeah, they were robbing a jewelry store. And the plan was Led is going to run away and the cops are going to follow him. And Sonny was supposed to take the bag of jewels and run the opposite direction. Then they were going to meet up at another place. But apparently Sonny was just heard, run down this street. So then he left the jewels and ran down. So there's no, they didn't have any money or jewelry or anything. They didn't get anything. They left on the counter. So he's like, ah, shit, what are we going to do? Then they look, and it's very obvious now that I look at this picture. The person who was driving is definitely shot in the back multiple times. Yeah. So I believe the police actually end up killing him, but they shot him once in the shoulder. And so, yeah, they like push him forward and they're like, hey, look, he's got a wallet and it's got $300 almost in here. And then they look in the back because they hear a noise and there's a baby or at least a kid back there.
Young toddler, and she starts crying.
So they like leave the kid back there and they just ditch the car.
And then they're like, party!
This Beth party! And then I was a little confused. I'm like, it just says 3 days later and it's just in the middle of a party. So I'm like, has it been partying for 3 days? Or was it 3 days later and this is the beginning of a party?
I feel like it was 3 days later, and then they started to have a party.
Okay.
I think maybe.
I don't know.
They had to get everybody
These kids don't seem to have good parental supervision or whatever. So, but yeah, I guess you're probably right. This party has just started, and it's 3 days later. And so we see there's like a young kid walking around, and he's like, "Mommy," and like there's a lady named Rose that he's saying "mommy" to. And she's kind of the life of the party in between all these guys. And she's like, what is it, Joey? And so that's where this ties in to the first issue. That's Joey's mom, and that's little Joey from the first issue, the kid that had sex with a prostitute and then fell in love with her dead body. And so, so
this is going to end up real good.
Yeah, I'm sure this is going to end up great. And so basically, we just follow Led around for a while, and him and Sonny as they talk about like kind of what they did, and then some girls show up and some guys, and one of the guys is Spanish Scott, who's like, "Hey man, great party, Led. Just so you know, I told Harry about you, like so like you might have some jobs coming up, and get to work for the big man now." And he's like, "Oh great, cool, like finally I get to do something." And they say cool beans a lot in this.
Yeah, they say cool beans.
I'm like, did this guy invent cool beans? Because like this is way before I remember people saying it. This is from 1995.
Yeah.
So when did people say cool beans? I don't know. But this is like either it wasn't in 1995 when people were saying cool beans.
No.
So either this guy invented it and people like took it from here, and this is like the epicenter of cool beans. But everybody says cool beans a lot in this, so that's their like reply to things when they're trying to be chill or whatever. And so he's super happy. And then there's another dude named Monster.
Yeah, he's like only referred to as Monster.
He's only referred to as Monster, and he's like obviously the head enforcer guy at the moment. So there's Spanish Scott and Monster. Monster doesn't really show up in this story too much, but it's like he appears in some other ones. You're like, holy shit, like this guy's serious. But so yeah, basically we get some other girls appear as well.
Beth and Nina.
Beth and Nina, yep. And Nina is we know this, but Zed doesn't know that she is Harry's girl. And at the moment, she's Harry's girl, and she's kind of like fed up with it. Like she's like, I don't know, it's kind of boring, blah blah blah. And so she starts talking to Zed.
Led.
I'm sorry, Led. Why do I keep saying Zed? Led. And Led and her have a great conversation, and then like, hey, let's go buy some beer and stuff. And like after they kind of like make acquaintances with people, and have a good time. Basically, they're like flirting and stuff, and then Led's trying to be cool and play it cool and everything. So, but yeah, so they go get beer. He actually like robs the place to like impress her. He's like, "Oh, I forgot my wallet. Let me just go in there. Give me your pantyhose."
And she like flips them off right there in the street.
Yeah, so you know she's a bad girl.
Yeah.
And
he puts him on his head, and then he runs in and he's like, "Hey, infidel, die, capitalist pig, or you're going to die if you don't,
give me your money
and move." So he puts him on the floor, and then he like signals her in, and she comes in and just wheels out like 5 cases of beer or whatever.
Yeah, and he's like, you better not move, death to Carter, and then like they run out, and so the guy basically they just rob this place without having to worry about stuff. Then we see like Joey. We cut to the party, and Joey's like still at the party while his mom's getting fucked by everybody. So that's where we find out where his issues come from.
Yeah, it's messed up because he's looking around for his mom and he can't find. And we all figured out what's going on with her,
right?
And he's like, "Where is he?" And like some of the people are like, "Oh, she left you." Like they're being dicks to him. And then one of the guys, you think he's being okay? He's like, "No, she didn't leave you. It's okay. She's in that room right over there.
Yeah, you should go open the door right there."
He opens the door and he's confronted seeing his mom have sex with multiple men.
Yeah, like what, 3 men? So I don't know. It's like a lot of
either
people.
way, it's super messed up for a child to see.
Yeah, and so he's like, "Oh my god, mom," and yeah, so then we see Led and Nina like are getting like basically they're like, you know what, like I kind of love you, like let's run away, like let's run away together, like we need to get out of here. And so Led and Nina start like making out in the bathroom, and then they end up like fucking in the bathroom and then fucking in the bedroom, and I'm going crazy.
I did like this. It kind of made me think of Team America because she he was kind of saying like, I like they had that moment or whatever, but then he was still kind of being like, well, I have, some things to do because he wants to move up or whatever.
Right.
And she's like, she's obviously like, kind of done with Harry.
Yeah.
And she's like, well, if you don't want to like hang out with me more, I'll just like go upstairs to the bathroom, clean up, and I'll leave or whatever. Like,
yeah,
doesn't matter. And then so like he has a moment away from her. He's talking to someone at the party. And then he goes up to the bathroom as she's like getting ready to leave, and he's like, "I'll never leave.
I will never die.
I will never die." and then right to boning. Like
yeah, just straight up like shove you against the toilet, then like move, shoves him back against the wall, then like very passionate lovemaking. And
yeah.
So they're talking later, and he's like, I was talking to some guys, and it was kind of interesting. I might be a big shot because like I actually got like an offer today. I might get a break with Harry or whatever. And she's like, uh-huh. Then we see some guy, or Sonny comes in, the other guy that robbed the jewelry store with him. He's like, "Hey, Led, guess what? The big shot's here." And he's like, "Oh, hold on." And then she's like, "Shit," because she knows it's Harry and he's gonna kill anybody who's fucking her because
Yeah.
she's his girl. But Led Led never knew that was his girl.
Nope.
So she never told him like, hey, I'm Harry's girl. Don't fuck me or whatever. And so basically he's like, what? And then that's where it ends because he's going to die. And he doesn't know it. And he dies naked on a bed probably, which is not a good way to die. So that one was I liked that story a lot. It kind of like had a lot of fleshed out stuff going on.
Yeah, I like that one. That was fun.
But like we were saying, the most fleshed out story is the girl from the Halloween Mask. So issue 4 is about her. She is now like on the run. She's ran away. It's like I guess a year later, and she's got a scar on her face, but she's like run away from, I think it's been like 3 days or something, or 3 days since she ran away. But it's a whole year later from when the last issue or issue 2 happened with her. So the scar on her face is healed and everything. And she's hitchhiking on the side of the road as you do in the 70s, you know, just waiting for Jason or one of those people to kill you. And so she gets, some guy pulls over, he's like, need a ride, little girl? And she's like, oh, I guess so. She gets in the car with him, and he's like, where are you headed? And she's like, west. Then, like, he starts, like, asking her, like, what's your name? Where's your mommy? And she's like, she's looking at him, like, more and more. And then he's like, he sees her scar, and he's like, good Lord, what happened to your face? And then she gets all pissed off when he tries to, like, touch her face. Then she yells stop, and then he stops, and she runs out. So then she just, like, lays in a field. And then she has this, like, weird dream. Like, she looks up in the clouds and, like, thinks she sees, like, a giant, what is it? Like a praying
mantis or something? Yeah.
Who starts immediately, like, landing on her and eating her face. It's like she's crazy imagination or something. So I think maybe she thinks she's got, like, this crazy fucked up face. But, like, she doesn't.
But really. It's just a scar across her cheek.
Yeah. And nose. It does hit her nose and stuff too.
Yeah.
But then out of nowhere, this weird guy appears and he's like, hey, kid, are you dead? And then she's like, don't touch me. And he's like, no, it's fine. Don't worry. I'll just give you a ride. I got lots of candy and Coke in my car.
Yeah, don't definitely come with me.
It's fine. Go with me. I have candies and Coca-Cola.
Kids love those. Kids chunky bars.
Love this shit. So she lies to him and says that her name is Jill, which is her older sister's name.
He's like, my name's Paul Barrow.
Yeah. And so he is obviously a fucking creep from right away because he's like looking at her crotch. Like as they're driving, you see him like staring down at her and like being very creepy. And so like, I don't know, they're just talking like, oh, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? And she said, she's like making up names and stuff. She's like, oh, my real name's not Jill. My name's Virginia Applejack or whatever, and like coming up with like fun names and stuff. So that kind of leads later into a later issue. But like basically she starts talking about like how I've seen like people die and stuff, and he's like, oh, me too. Like I'm a bad guy. I'm a robber or whatever.
Yeah, you know Bonnie and Clyde. Like I'm related to Clyde by blood.
Yeah, and like she's like, oh really? He's like, yeah, you know, and you could be my Bonnie if you wanted to, and like all this really creepy shit.
It's super creepy, and he's like, yeah, I got a gun right there in the glove box, and she goes to like touch, and he's like, no, don't open that. It's triggered that if you open it the wrong way, like a nest of ants is going to come out and eat your face or whatever.
Yeah,
and it shows an ant. Like
yeah, she believes him because there's like an ant that she sees.
Yeah,
I don't know if it's real or not because
That's
grasshopper or the praying mantis that was eating her face, but she sees an ant at least appear on the dashboard. So like she never actually looks inside to see if there's a gun or whatever, but there's not. So yeah, like, and then basically he's like, oh, we should get something to eat, you know, and the car's on empty, and he keeps talking about like, you know, we should go to or she says like, oh, we could go to Las Vegas. He's like, oh yeah, showgirls, you know, gambling, money, gangsters, and then he keeps talking to her about like, you know, partners do stuff for each other, right? You know, like, like a lot of weird fucking hints and shit.
Creepy.
It's really creepy. And then he's talking to her, and then he says like, oh, make sure you eat your food. And then as it shows her like licking her fingers and stuff, which I'm assuming he's looking at. Like that's what he's seeing is her like licking her fingers and being all like, I don't know, like a kid, but just, it's gross or whatever. And so as he's like, oh, I like the way you that scar looks on you. It makes you look tough. Makes you look very sexy. And then like as he says that, the what's it called? The waitress comes over and she's like, would you like any like dessert? And then she's like, yeah, I'll have some cherry pie. So it is super creepy. She heard that and didn't say anything or do anything. That's like super like fucked up. That's when you call the cops and say there was a dude sitting with a little girl who seemed to not know that little girl because they're talking about like getting to know each other stuff, about traveling to Las Vegas and shit, and then being like that she's sexy.
And he's like this girl who's definitely, you know, under the age of like 15 is very sexy.
Yeah. And then she tells him where she got the scar from. She said like, oh, I told my mom I fell off a bike, but basically I stabbed a kid in school and he attacked me after that. But I took a chunk out of Kevin's arm and scratched his face up, and he was like never allowed to play baseball again after that and stuff. But he liked that. He thought, oh man, you're a tough bitch or whatever. And so then he's like, hey, be on the lookout. Give me a couple honks if the cops come.
We're gonna rob the store.
We're gonna rob this convenience store. So he pulls in and he's like, no, don't do anything other than like honk or whatever. But like, why don't you write a note that says like, give me your cash or I'll fucking blow your head off. And she's like, okay. So she writes a note, and then he gets it, and like he's like, oh, he laughs to himself when he reads it because it says like, give me the money or I'll blow your brains out, maybe, or whatever, like a little kid, you know. So then she's messing with the what's it called, the
glove box.
The glove box. There you go. And then she like realizes there's two cops about to go into the store, and she's like, oh shit, I'm on the lookout. So she's like honks, and then like the guy comes out with like a bag, like he actually paid for everything, no problem. He didn't rob the place. And then the cop's like, ha 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 to him, and like says hi or whatever. And then he's like, let's peel, we got to get out of here. And so basically,
except did he not rob their place? Because there's $500 in the
I don't
bag.
know. Okay. I didn't think he did because the end of this makes me think he didn't.
Yeah.
But if he did, that would be fucking stupid because everybody knows who he is, right?
Yeah, maybe. Well, he did have a lot of cash in his wallet.
I was going to say
earlier,
maybe he just put cash in a thing and was like, hey, back then it wasn't weird to have like $500 in cash on you, especially if you're traveling. So yeah, I mean, it wasn't that much cash, but for a kid, it would be like a lot of cash. Whoa. So then he bought her cigarettes. He's like, you should start smoking. Only cool people smoke. And so she starts smoking, and he's like, I'm proud of you. You're a very young, special lady. And he like puts his hand on her knee. Oof. It's creepy as fuck. And he's like, so very beautiful.
This one really like made my stomach turn a little. Like,
yes. It's gross. And he's like, you know, I only smoke like after a meal or before before a meal or after sex. It's like weird shit like that. Creepy
says that
fucking shit. This guy, this creepy ass guy. And so basically he's about to like we think, where the hell is he going? He's gonna like fuck her. Like
he says he's gonna find like a hotel or something.
Yeah, and but we're like we're this is ramping up now to us. We've been like, oh shit, it's gonna like end with him like killing her or raping her or something bad happening to her. And then what ends up happening is he's like, why don't you open up that glove box? And she opens up the glove box, which she thinks is going to be a gun. And what it is actually is a vote for Paul Barron, like for Congress sticker. And we see he's actually brought her back home, and he's like, no, kid, don't be sore at me. I had to do it. It was like all for publicity. It's like the best publicity I could ever have.
He called like apparently all the news about this girl who's been missing. He find her, and he's the one who gets to bring her home.
Yeah, so he called the news to like meet him at the house so he can take her home, and that's what happened. So the weird thing is, okay, obviously I get the like, hey kid, why don't you travel with me? And like we're on a crime spree together, like tricking the kid into driving with you. The weird pedophile stuff, that's just fucked up.
No, he's still a creepy,
that's real.
He's still a creepy pedophile.
At first I was like, wait, was all that fake? And I was like, no, the pedophile stuff didn't need to happen. The other stuff kind of did need to happen for her to trust him or whatever, to drive that long and everything. But like the other stuff didn't need to happen
No,
where
he's
being
so,
all creepy
so
and
he's,
shit.
now he's just a slimeball politician on top of being a creepy pedophile.
Wait. So you're telling me there's a politician who is also a pedophile, John?
Is that not that never?
I've never heard of
I've
such
never
a
heard
thing.
of that either. I guess it's true.
Epstein didn't kill himself. I'm sorry, I had a cough today. So. But yeah, so I'm shocked. The political people are also monsters that rape children. Anyway, so then we get issue 5.
Backing up that truck.
Yeah, backing up that truck is what it's called. This is in spring of 1981. We get this guy named Orson, which is a great name for a kid. I'm like, ooh, bring that name back. He's like, I've only known one other person named that, and that's Orson Welles.
Yeah.
So Orson, what a great name. So this kid's walking. He hears like a car screeching, and then like a thud, and then like a squish noise. And this truck, he goes around the corner. He sees this truck drive over a person, and who's driving that truck but Spanish Scott? And he's like, what? And Spanish Scott looks at him like, ha ha, I killed that motherfucker. Ah. And like, he doesn't look sad or anything at all.
Yep. And then
So,
just drives off.
he definitely meant to do that. And so,
People start screaming. Crowd gathers around.
yeah. And so all this shit's going on. The kid sees, the guy had a bag of drugs. He had a number on his hand. He also had like a gun in his pocket. And then someone comes out of the crowd next to him. And who is it but Joey's slutty mom Rose? And so Rose is like, oh hey there, this is weird, I can't believe it. And like basically we think, because she seems to like understand what's going on here, she's like laughing a little bit too, like, wow, have you ever seen anything like this? And it's like, wait, what? Like something's fucking weird. Basically we think like she must have been in on this, because they don't put this one together as easy as the other ones, but this one seems like Rose set up this guy to die by Spanish Scott. I was gonna say Spanish Steve again, John, because of you. And so, but anyway, Rose then like starts hitting on this kid Orson, and Orson is like, oh my god, how's it going? And she's like, where you headed, big boy? He's like, oh, I'm just gonna go home.
She's like, come have lunch with me first.
Yeah, and so like they have lunch. He's like doesn't know why she's talking to him or anything, but he's like, oh man, that guy that drove off, he was a big jerk. He didn't look like he was even sorry or nothing. And she's like, oh really? So you're in high school, huh? So and now I'm kind of putting this together. I think she's gonna tell Scott, obviously, this kid saw you and could like ID you.
Yeah.
So they're towards the end of this, we'll see kind of what was supposed to happen. But basically, she keeps him around, I think, so that they can kill him later, a little bit later. So, but basically, she's just hitting on him hardcore. And she's like, you should miss school and fuck me. He's like, oh my God.
I don't know about that. She's like, here, have an alcoholic beverage. He's like, I'm only 17.
Yeah, and some Valium and stuff. And like, yeah, like basically he's being a little baby about it, but also she's coming on real strong.
Real strong.
And she's probably like 30 or something. I don't know. So, no, I think it says she's 27.
Yeah.
So that means she had like, was Joey when she was like a little, or no, when she was like 18 or something. Yeah. So, but yeah, so basically she's coming on to him hard, and she's like, we should hang out tomorrow night. He's like, oh, sure. And then we find out when he goes home that like grandma and grandpa are coming to visit tomorrow night, and so you can't hang out.
Yeah, Orson is apparently the good. There's two kids at his house, him and his sister, and the sister, they come in. Orson comes home and they're yelling at her already. So apparently she's like
she's the wild child.
She's the wild child, and Orson's the good, straight and narrow kid.
Yeah, and so like she's like, fuck grandma, I'm going out tomorrow, I don't care. And then they're like, well, Orson's gonna be here, right? And he's like, but yes, but he's like, I want to get my dick wet. Like
he's like, well, I do have a date though with this girl.
No, you don't. You have a date with grandma. And like we know that he feels it like in his loins, because they show him like in his room, like, oh good God, like grabbing his crotch, being like, I'm supposed to go out tomorrow.
Oh, I don't know what to do.
Yeah, and so yeah, he's like freaking out because he wants to get laid from this lady, but also he saw this murder, and so he tells his sister like, I saw this murder and there was a phone number, and then like they call the phone number, and some woman picks up and is like, Scott, and so I think it's Rose's number that they call, but it's not.
That's where I got Scott from, by the way. I knew there was a Scott in there.
No, Steve. That is Scott.
That is
John.
Scott. That's right.
It is Scott, John,
Scott,
not Steve.
not
You put
Steve.
Steve in my head. Anyway, yeah. So he's freaking out, and then so basically, the next day comes, and he doesn't go with her. Obviously, he has to sit with Grandma, and then that night he gets a call on his phone. I don't know how she got the number. I don't know, but basically he answers, hello, and she's like, what the fuck? It's Rose. How come you didn't fuck me last night or whatever?
And this conversation is crazy because it goes between I'm yearning for you, we'll do it another day, and then she's like, well, yeah, but I don't know about getting away, and she's like, well, you better, you little jerk. And
yeah.
He's like, I want to, but
he's like, oh, I know you want to, baby. It's fine. Also, fuck you.
Yeah.
You better be here.
She's toying with his feelings so bad.
Yeah, because he's like, I thought we were friends. She's like, oh, we are. We're more than friends. And then she's like, you better be here tomorrow, motherfucker. And so she sets up another date with him, and then
she says, I'm going to throw you a big graduation party.
Yeah, and so he goes to her house, and as he's going to her house, she says, or some guy says, hey, come on, Scott. And they're leaving the door. And we see Scott and Monster are coming out of this party. You're like, holy shit. Now, I don't know if this is the same party that was the party that the other guys had, or just a different party.
Or a different party. I think it's a different party.
Because if you remember, Scott and Monster show up at that party.
At that party, too.
So I don't know. They could run together, or this is just every Saturday they have a party or whatever. So I don't know. But basically, Scott goes there with flowers, and then he's waiting outside the door, and he kind of hears what they're talking about. But then Monster sees him. He's like, "What are you doing, kid? You fucking listening?"
And he owns it's a Monster real fast.
Yeah.
Monster picks him up and holds him against the wall. How long were you standing there?
Yeah.
What did you hear? And it's like, Jesus Christ.
He's like, "I'm gonna destroy you, kid. You fucking die." And then they're like, hold on. He's with us. He's okay. It's his birthday today. He's fine. And so they're like, oh. Yeah, he's just a kid, man. Let him go or whatever. So they walk away, and then she's like, shh, it's okay, baby. It's a good boy.
Shh.
We'll just give you some alcohol, and that'll calm you down. So she gives him some booze. Then, so they start making out or whatever. Then the party happens.
She's like, have you ever had marijuana?
Yeah.
And she hotboxes. Yeah, that's ridiculous.
She blows it in his face or whatever. And then so then he's all high, and then the party happens. The only reason why I say this is the same party is because, or potentially the same party, is because they look like some of the same guys are here. Like the guys that fucked her at the party.
Maybe.
I don't know. So either way, basically he's taking pills. He's doing coke. He's taking acid. Everybody's offering him shit around him. And it seems like he's partaking in this because he's super high. And so then he's like, I love this. He's like, 1 second he's leaning on a guy and he's like, I love you, man. He's like, I love you. And they're like, I love you too. They're all high on whatever. Then you see some girl going up to him and be like, oh, I'll show you mine if you show me yours. And he's like, okay. Then this girl, random person, pulls off her boot or pulls out her tits, and then
his eyes go wide. And he's like, wow.
Yeah, and so then she reaches down his pants, and there was a panel that looks like, to me, it looked like someone vomiting. John thought it was someone giving him a BJ. So
I don't know. I couldn't this is because things were getting a little crazy.
They get wonky. There's a lot of the art is distorted.
Gets a little distorted here.
Yeah.
So I was like, I didn't know if it went that hardcore or not.
I mean, it showed boobs the panel before, so
yeah.
I get where you're going. But basically, he freaks out and he thinks he hears Scott's voice, and he's like, "Oh my god, it's the killers!" But he's freaking out too much; he can't do anything.
And then he blacks out.
So yeah. Then he wakes up. He's like, "What?" And Rose is like, "Oh, honey, you were so fucked up last night. I can't believe it. I hope you had a good time or whatever." And then she never really does anything with him, right? She never fucks him, right? No, I don't think so.
No, she doesn't, because she was like, we didn't get any real alone time yesterday.
Yeah, we should hang out today, right? That's
Yeah.
what she said. He's like, I gotta go do stuff with grandma or whatever. So he leaves, and then then he meets some girl named Beth randomly, who was at the party, the other party. So that's why I was like, maybe these parties are connected. I don't know. And then out of nowhere, you see Beth go like turn a corner with him and go like, fuck. And you hear like thud. And so you see some guy that's kind of dressed similar to him who's got hit by a car.
Yeah.
And then he runs out and punches the lady, I guess, who hit that guy. So that's the end of it. So we're like, me and John think happened. They didn't tie this together as tightly as some of the other ones, but we think that Beth and Rose were working to hit him with a car, just like Scott did at the beginning. Like they were going to have Scott run him over.
Yeah.
But before that could happen, some other lady accidentally hit a guy with a car, and he freaked out like that was after him or something.
Yeah, because of everything that he saw went down. And the only reason that we really were like trying to piece that together is because Rose showed up randomly in the first one, and then all the things that happened in between, and then Beth shows up here at the end. And again, that girl earlier was named Beth that was part of the other party. And as he's walking with Beth, he also is like, "Are you sure I don't know you?" Like, because he like, he's trying to piece things together too. I'm sure.
The night before, yeah.
Yeah, and she's like, "Oh no, you don't know me, whatever." And then she says, "Fuck." So we don't know if like you
hear the accident, and then she says, "Fuck," like that wasn't supposed to happen.
Yeah, was that not supposed to happen, or was she just truly surprised? It was really, that's what we're on the fence. We're like, man, like this is an odd situation.
Yeah, it's an odd one, but basically Orson punches the lady, and that's the end of it. So
yeah,
so they leave it at that. Orson does not die or anything. So, and then 6 was the most interesting one, I thought. This one starts off with this lady in a spaceship, and her name is Amy Racecar.
Amy Racecar.
And we see at the beginning she's having a conversation with someone, and he's like, "Oh, I know you have a lot of questions." And she's like, "Why did you take my daddy?" And like, he's like, "Most people think I control everything, but no, I just created them, and then I just hands off. They live their life." And she's like, "But what about heaven?" He's like, "Well, I created Earth for you guys, so hopefully one day you'll be able to, if you guys work really, really hard, make heaven on your own." So she has this conversation with God, and then,
but then she's like, "So you are God?" And he's like, "Nah, I'm not really, God per se or whatever."
He's like, "I play God in TV or whatever." Yeah. So like basically she has this conversation with God, and then wakes up and she was just in bed or whatever. And so then when she wakes up, because of this conversation, she has like, she's not in a coma or anything. She just, for her whole beginning of her life, like is in like, let's call it a fugue state, where she like doesn't move,
she doesn't talk,
doesn't eat, doesn't do anything. And so like the hospital people are super weirded out and convinced. And so like this is obviously like some kind of weird what you call it, like fever dream or something. Yeah. So what this is, me and John figured this out, is this is one of Ginny's stories.
It has to be, because
it talks about her dad dying. It's like, it's super violent and fucked up. Like she named a character very interesting, something like.
Yeah, so we pieced together because there's a couple of elements in this story. So this whole story is
the mom is terrible.
There's this mom that's taking care of the girl, and the mom is terrible, and like doctors keep coming and nobody can figure out what's wrong with her, and the mom like is freaking out all the time and like still being rude to the girl, even though she's basically being comatose,
but not comatose. She's still awake and everything.
No, she's awake, but like she's acting like she's not talking. She's not doing anything. And so the name Amy Racecar, when Ginny was with the congressman, she said like, "Oh, I thought of a good name for you and I for when we're robbers together, whatever." And then when she was in school and got in trouble after stabbing that kid, they also showed the parents, "Hey, look, she wrote these crazy stories,
right? Like
what I did on my summer vacation and stuff like that."
Yeah, I think this is a later one because this is after the dad dies too. So.
Yeah, no, I think we pieced.
She continues to write stories. So basically, so this is one of her stories we figured out. So the mom is like trying to treat her, but she won't get out of bed and everything. So that she brings her to doctors. And in this story, the doctors have this machine called the Truth Machine, and they hook her up to it. And they're like, "We'll find out if she's lying or if she's really sick and in a coma." And so they hook her up to it, and they see what the conversation she had with God. And when they do that, the scientists like freak the fuck out, and then they jump out of the window, and they're like, "Nothing means anything, and it's all meaningless, and I'm like worth nothing," and all this stuff. So they freak the fuck out. They're like, and then some of them were like, "Oh, the machine must have malfunctioned, and or maybe she was standing in water and all this stuff." And then the mom runs in with a knife and is like, "You worthless bitch! Like, I'm gonna kill you, you whore!" And then like starts cutting her face up, which is also like the girl who cuts her face, and she cuts it like way worse than it is cut. So like she cuts all over her face, and then like an army guy runs in, is like, "Stop!" And he's like, "I'm gonna shoot," and they're like, "Shoot the girl!" And then as he like looks at her, do you think he's gonna shoot her? And she throws the knife at him, and then then
she says that Daddy loved me more than you, kind of playing on that, you know, that the dad is always away.
Yeah.
And when he comes, he's always really super nice to the daughter.
And then she grabs the Marine's gun, or I'm sorry, Amy Racecar wakes up, throws the knife at the soldier. Then the soldier is dead. She grabs the soldier's gun, and then as the mom yells, "I should have had a son," she shoots everybody in the room. Then like we see Washington Press, coma girl goes berserk, and then like so like the news is now reporting on it, and then we see she's like it says 2 years later, and she's like on the run, and she's like working. She's like working an FBI agent against, like, she's a famous robber now, and she's like working she's got them working on her side because she fucks so good or whatever, and like she's able to turn them and stuff. And so the FBI has been like helping her, and she's like, "Someday Jake will get married." And then you find out later that like everybody has, like, a bunch of people think that they're married to her and in love with her, but she's actually just like conning everybody, and she's like the best thief in the world, and she stoned the Mona Lisa, she's stolen all this shit. Then she like gets caught finally from like everybody, and then they put they're like, you're gonna be like sentenced to the Truth Machine in front of everybody in the world. And so they like sentence her to put this Truth Machine on, because now the technology's gotten better over the years. And so her whole brain is basically being played to everybody on TV. And when they show it, it's the same thing again. You see God, and, you know, the conversation happens where she's like, "Oh, so there is nothing. Nothing means anything." And then it says, "The world erupts in chaos." Then the Washington Press says, "There is no God." Like extra, read all about it. There is no God. Then she like is at the White House for some reason.
Yeah, I guess the president's like, "Look, like things are crazy, and you're the only one now who is going to be able to like calm people down, because this was your truth box like brain telling this. So you need to
get on TV and tell everybody it's okay." So she gets on TV and she gives this big sob story, and everybody's like, "Wow, that was amazing." And then he's like, "Good job." And then she looks at his desk, and it's the president's desk, and there's just the button. It just says
it's the button.
So you're like, "Oh, it's the nuclear button, right?" So then she's like, she can't help herself. She pushes the button. He's like, "No, what are you doing?" And it's like, "Incoming. We just launched all of our missiles, and now all of Russia's missiles are attacking us." And then you see like escape pod, beep, beep, beep. And she like runs into the escape pod, and that's where the comic started. She's in the escape pod in space, floating, and the Earth is now blown up and everything. And she's like, "I got a lot of food, and it's fine, but like there's just enough time, thank God." And we see it's just flying towards the sun. So she's going to end up dying in the sun eventually. So super fucked up, like, story, weird story, but it was interesting to see it all tie together.
You could definitely see like how that could come from the mind of a kid too, like, I'm gonna become the world's greatest thief, and like,
yeah, for sure. And then the 7th issue, and this one doesn't really have a crime or anything in it, but basically it's just the story of her dad, Ginny's dad, getting sick and dying from cancer.
Yeah,
he's like, "You know what, honey? I realize I've been gone for so long." And she's obviously older. I think what year is this one? I think it takes place in like 82. Okay, so it's like 5 years after when she got her face first cut. No, 4 years after when she got her face cut. So she's like older now, and her dad's like, I've been gone a lot, and I've decided that's going to change. I'm going to stay home more. I'm not going to drive as much, and so like they're like, oh, everything's going to be great now. And I thought, because they keep showing this, the mom who's all like fucking soured now and everything and hates everybody is like, she'll be feeding them all or giving the dad a drink with her, and the dad will always be like, oh, my stomach. Oh, I don't feel good. I'm like, oh, is she poisoning him? Is that what's going on? But no, apparently he has just developed stomach cancer.
And unless they don't physically come out and say that.
Yeah, unless there's like something she could give him that makes him have stomach cancer. I don't know. But basically, we feel like that's what's going on is he just has stomach cancer, and it just happened to look a little bit like she was poisoning him. I don't know if he made it wanted to look like that or not, but
then basically Jenny just watches from another room, like, her dad becomes bedbound in his room.
He doesn't want to die in a hospital, so he just stays in bed in the house, and so he can be with his family. But like, it's basically the mom and the older sister who have to really take care of him, and she just has to watch kind of like from a distance as he dies slowly in the house. And it's weird seeing him go from like super big, fat, overweight kind of.
He looked like one of those 80s wrestlers where it's like, you're not
muscle
like,
underneath the fat or whatever, like an old truck driver, obviously they're strong, but they've also ate at a lot of diners,
exactly.
So, or like a 40 strong man where they have the onesie suit on. And those rounded weights. I need to get some of those rounded weights.
The round weights is where it's at. That's how you really build muscle.
Yeah. There must be, because they looked strong back then. So, definitely not balloons colored black. That's definitely not what they were. But yeah, she sees like her dad dying, and that's pretty much the issue. Is like just her coming to terms with her dad dying, or having to watch her dad die. So it feels like she probably wrote that story after this, obviously, because her dad was already dead when she talks to God. So, it's just like super fucked up. Basically, the dad just one day is too sick to like get up or do anything, and they have to call an ambulance, and that's the end of it. So that's the whole first trade.
Yep.
What did you think of that, John?
Like, so overall, I liked it. There was enough connective tissue, and like you said, when we talked about it too, we kind of went back and put a couple pieces together that we were like, oh well, maybe that's where it is. Especially like the spaceship and like her being a master.
I'm not gonna lie, when that one started, I'm like, what is going on?
It is, because it's totally random compared to the rest of it.
Yeah.
I tell you this, it made me be like, there's not a good enough like conclusion and wrap up of this. Like, I want to know some more of this story.
You have to read volume 2.
I know, like I'm gonna have to now.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if we'll do it for this or if I'm just gonna go on my own, but like,
we could probably do another volume or two.
We'll see if you guys like it. Maybe let us know. We'll do the next one on here. But I definitely like. I'm curious now. Like, I want to kind of dive a little more. Not that this wasn't like my favorite one that we've read, but I enjoyed it, and the art,
I agree.
The art was good for the most part. Sometimes, like you said, when there was some fighting or some kind of struggle going on, or some kind of crazy sex drug party going on.
Yeah, it was hard to tell sometimes what was going on.
Kind of got a little hard to tell.
Because it is in black and white, too. So it's like, unless people look completely different, or he would change angles sometimes, he'd be like, whoa, that's crazy.
And I'm not going to fault, because, two colors in black and white, sometimes that can be hard. But we've also read some black and white ones that were like, whoa, like they did some cool, unique things with, too. So
true.
But either way, I liked it. I definitely would, if someone likes, crime elements to things, I would definitely be like, yeah, you should totally read this one. Like, this was really wild and different. And like you said, like, they all, even though like there was that little bit of connective tissue, they were all individual stories, basically.
Yeah.
So yeah,
you could pick up any one of those and read it and be like, wow, that was a good issue.
Yeah. So it was good. I would say I'd probably give this a 7 overall.
A 7? Yeah, I'm gonna give this one, considering the time that it was made, this one an 8.
Yeah.
Because to publish this yourself and put it out, and really like, he won fucking Eisners the first year.
That's true. That's really impressive.
Yeah, like I it's hard for me to fathom putting something out, and Winning Eyes was like the first thing you put out. Yeah, I'm gonna give this one an 8. Next week we are gonna, I guess, continue with some crime, but this is actually gonna be a true crime. We're gonna go back to all the way back to episode 3, if you remember. There's a series called The Treasury of Victorian Murders. We're gonna actually go to his next series called The Treasury of 20th Century Murders, and we're gonna read The Axeman of New Orleans.
Yeah.
So it's Rick Geary, cool black and white art, and it's true crime. So these stuff actually happened, which is even more fucked up most of the time.
Yeah, we've done a true crime in a while, and I know that a lot of people. I'm surprised how many people there are like true crime buffs that like really like to hear and learn about those things. So I'm excited to do another one of these.
Yeah. So on that note, if you guys have any comments, questions, or suggestions, you can email us at Planes, Trains, and Comic Books, all one word, at gmail.com.
And don't forget about our Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube channel for exclusive content. We've got some new stuff coming out soon.
Yep. We'll see you guys next time.
On the next one.
Bye.
Well, folks, hope you enjoyed that episode.
If you did and you'd like to follow us on social media, our Facebook is Planes, Trains, and Comic Books, and our Instagram is @Planes, Trains, and Comic Books, all one word.
And be sure to like, share, and subscribe for more recommendations to add to your weekly pull list.
Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.